This interview is brought to you by Burn It Up Coaching and Becoming Your Greatest Possible Self in our 21-day challenge. And if you're an entrepreneur, high achiever, someone who's ready to kick that plateau to the curb, or you've been doing really good and you're improving, and you know that there's another gear within you, you know there's another level, and you're ready to reach that, access that, get clarity on your dreams, your purpose in life, be able to break down your life into your vision, your mission, your strategy, your objectives, create that statement of purpose for your life, as well as be able to break down your goals into bite-sized steps. So breaking it down for the big 5-year goal, the 1-year goal, the 3 months, the 1 month, the 1 week. If you want to learn how to do that, if you want to get on track with your goals, if you want to be held accountable, hold your feet to the fire, and know what are the key metrics that you need to be doing, the key actions to achieve your goal, whether it's writing a book, whether it's launching a podcast, whether it's achieving your next sales target, whatever that is for you, getting into the perfect health for you, or at least making massive strides and getting momentum in that, then I'm happy to support you in making that happen. That's what the 21-day challenge is all about. And if you're ready for that level of accountability and daily progress reports and check-ins, weekly deep dives to uncover the limiting self-sabotage beliefs that are keeping you stuck and not achieving your goals, then the 21-day challenge might be the perfect fit for you. And if you're interested and committed and willing to go the distance and you want to have a conversation about it, send me an email, chris@beyourgps.com email chris@beyourgps.com. That's it. And then facebook.com/th3burns. You can just search Chris Burns and find me on Facebook and send me a message there as well. So I look forward to having a conversation with you and helping you achieve your next 21-day challenge goal. So we're going to move into the iTunes review of the week, and that is by Yvonne Larson, who was on earlier today at 5 p.m., and she launched her podcast, playtowinpodcast.com. So if you are someone who's looking for new podcast inspirations, sources of inspiration and authenticity and congruence, she is definitely one to stay in communication and contact with, playtowinpodcast.com. And Yvonne said, passion, focus, inspiring. I've met lots of people who say they are committed to transforming the world. This guy, what? Seriously, he is no joke. His weekly 12-hour marathons are packed with valuable, reliable, and practical tools and resources. He is meticulous about curating the best guests. He is like the Energizer Bunny. He keeps going and going and going. I'm proud and honored to know such an amazing man. Thank you so much, Yvonne. I appreciate you. And if you have a iTunes review you want to give us, or you want to give us feedback, you can send us an email, chris@beyourgps.com. You can go to iTunes, beyourgps.com/iTunes, or search Becoming Your Greatest Possible Self on iTunes and do it like that. Or you can do it on Facebook and search Becoming Your Greatest Possible Self there. Anywhere you do it, we appreciate the feedback. Thank you so much in advance for doing that. Thank you. Look forward to hearing from you. Now, the woman of the hour, Lisanne, is so freaking awesome because she is just so powerful, so heart-centered, and coming from all the way across the world, which is super cool. I love doing this marathon with people in different countries because it's like, yeah, let's do this from all across the world, sharing our GPS, our greatest possible self. I love getting to see other people's perspective from different continents, different countries, different cultures, and I'm sure I'm going to be asking about that too, and just really be present with how you show up in this conversation, what you get called towards, really living a life of purpose, living with your heart forward, because that's what she really inspires in me, and I'm super excited to have her on the show. She'll be coming on in a minute, and make sure you stick around to the end because I know she's going to be sharing some really great stuff to empower you to tap into your heart, to stay aligned, and be your greatest possible self. Okay? So Lisanne is super awesome. And she's a personal trainer, an entrepreneur, a holistic life coach, and she specialized in coaching around cancer. She founded her company, My Heart Moves, with which she supports people through and after cancer, as well as loved ones that support those going through cancer in a deep, loving, holistic, and empowering way. She also works one-on-one with young, driven millennials to help them create the life that is on their heart while contributing to the world. She has been in the mind and body work for 8+ years and is currently traveling full-time while expanding her 2 online global businesses, coaching along people like Preston Smiles and Alexi Panos, and is currently co-writing a book around fitness and well-being. And we are so blessed and fortunate to have her here today. Lisanne, are you ready to rock this?
I'm so excited.
So excited. Boom. We are excited
Let's do
and
this.
fired up. Let's do it. You are now live on Becoming Your Greatest Possible Self. Thanks so much for showing up today and delivering your gifts and your wisdom and your heart for our audience so that we can grow with you. Thank you.
Thank you for having me. I was thinking this morning, because it's morning now. I know you're end of the world. You're at the end of the 12 hours. And I was just thinking this morning, I was like, how does he do it for 12 hours with this incredible energy? I deeply appreciate how you are showing up.
Thank you.
And your mission and your vision. It's very beautiful. So thank you for having me on. I'm excited to just jam.
Let's do it. Let's do it, Lisanne. So we dive right in with the question and theme of the day, which is our all-connected universe. So Lisanne, how has this showed up for you, this concept, this principle of an all-connected universe? How has it impacted your life? And what does that mean for you?
Oh, you go deep straight away.
That's right. Let's go.
Yes. I love it. Oh, you hear it all the time, right? Like, oh, we're all one, and it's nice saying it, but experiencing it is it's like on a whole different level. And every time we dive deeper into discovering ourselves and being in the work of what does it actually mean to be human, like what the fuck are we actually doing here, and how is this all working? The deeper you dive, the deeper you're like, oh wait, we actually are all one. If you really break us down as human beings and everything, basically everything is energy, everything is molecules, and everything is just vibrating together. And we are made up as 90% the same stuff as the earth is. So really, how can we think we're any different? And then also when we are around people, like noticing how they affect us. If someone is really moody, comes into the room, do you feel that energy?
Totally.
But if someone comes in the room like Chris, fired up, you're like, you feed off of that. So of course we are connected. And one of the most beautiful things I find it's a very concrete and tangible thing when we experience it, is looking at our food. When you have your dinner or you have your lunch or your breakfast or whatever, look at your food. Where is that rice coming from? Where are the veggies coming from? What contributed to that meal? The whole world is on your plate because someone had to plant that seed. Then it had to grow, the sun, the rain, all, like everything in the soil was involved. If someone didn't harvest that, it wouldn't have gotten even to your plate. Then from the harvest, it goes into the stores, it goes into distribution centers, it goes through the cashier. Then you're cooking it in a pan that you bought somewhere. You're taking water out of the tap, and then you sprinkle some like Himalayan salt or anything on top of that. So where's that coming from? And then you put it into your mouth, and you're nourishing your body, and by that you can give back to the world again. So you have fuel and energy to do what you're up to in the world and to be there for your friends and your family and everything. So really, if we think about it in like, it's a very tangible way, and I like bringing it down to that. Because straight away everyone realizes, oh wait, fuck, we're actually all connected.
I love it. And it's so cool because last week we covered a universe of duality, right? And so there's this concept of separation and how that plays into our mindset, our perspective, our philosophy in life, you know, us versus them or blah, 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 right? Like there's all these perspectives and paradigms, and then the higher, more connecting, more love-based mentality is this universe of singularity, the all-connected universe. And so I just had so much fun doing these two topics because I knew like, well, there's this perspective and then there's this perspective, and we need both. We need both because if we say, oh, you know, it's just a single connected universe, so the only thing that's going to happen when I die is I'm going to go on to my next lifetime or soul or whatever like journey. So, oh, it's cool, you know, I can murder this person or do whatever. It's like, no, like we're still living in 3D. We're still living here, and there's consequences to those actions, you know? And I think it's really cool having that balance of like being our greatest possible self and being spiritually evolving and growing into our highest self while still being grounded in how is everything really working? Like, how does the food get to the table? How do these different ingredients do the different things? And making sure that we're like empowered. We're like on fire with our purpose, living our purpose. And that's exactly what you teach, is like really having people lead with their heart. So tell us a little bit more about, the cancer coaching, the holistic coaching, and My Heart Moves, and just tell us about what you're working on today.
Amazing. So My Heart Moves, really, I am now like discovering things about My Heart Moves and what it all stands for and what it all does that I never ever expected when that name just popped into my head. Which is another thing about like spirituality and how I believe it really chose me and chose to come through me. And I am now only like, I'm kind of like at its mercy. Like I always say, like I work for my vision. It's not me. And that makes it so much, it's just so much more deep and powerful than I ever imagined it to be. Because when it came to me, it was just like, oh, I moved my life from my heart. It was when I transitioned out of the dance industry. I was a professional dancer for years. And so I've always been working with the body and the mind, body, everything. But I found that it stayed on a superficial level and I wanted to drop deeper. And I know that's not for everyone. I'm not saying anything against that industry. However, for me, I knew I had more to give and there was more inside me that I wasn't able to bring across when I was just the face of a brand or in a music video or working for a commercial.
And you know what else I see, Lisanne, is you can create that experience, that dancing experience while giving the My Heart Moves like vision and vibe and messaging and integrate it even more in the future. And like, I think for me, like I condemned video games when I was growing up because like, oh, it was a waste of time. It was totally like, so wrong. And now I suck at entrepreneurship because I have no social skills. And now I'm recognizing that, oh my gosh, that was such a key pivotal part of my journey because it gave me awareness. It gave me indicators to what I really loved and what I wanted to do. And that's like to gamify life and to help people grow and to evolve our characters and play the game of life, right? So with you, I see that dancing as a phase that maybe you couldn't feel the fully, most expressed at that point. But as the journey moves forward, you're going to be able to integrate that into your vision and do what you love even more. And that will be the uniqueness that is you that nobody else does. Like you're the coach and the dancer and the, speaker and all these things mixed into one, which is super, super cool.
And I love that you bring that up because I always say it to everyone, like, every single thing that you're doing, you have no idea what stepping stones that is towards where you're going. So me, literally everything that I've ever done in my life is now coming together into something, into a like magical beingness in my life and a magical gift that I'm able to give, which is so unique to me. No one is going to do it like me. And everyone that's listening, like no one is going to do life and give and speak and be in a way that you are able to, because no one has had the experiences that you have and the skill sets. And I always say, like, everything we do in life, everything that we experience, everything that we learn, even when we might think it is useless or not really contributing to, it's all in your backpack. And you take out whatever you need out of your backpack in different situations in life.
Yeah.
So that my whole upbringing in the dance and the performing industry, it taught me how to be on camera. It taught me how to be comfortable speaking and being on stage with people.
Wow.
Everything I've always wanted to do in life is move people, move them emotionally, make them experience life and be in the present moment. Well, I'm still doing that. I'm dancing every single day. Now I'm dancing with words. I'm dancing in conversations. I'm dancing with nutrition, with coaching people, seeing like, where are you now? And how can I help you navigate to where you want to be? And so My Heart Moves really came of like, okay, so everything I want to do in life needs to come from my heart. Because if it's not really from my heart and from my like deep dives of my soul, then it's not going to fulfill me. Because what I saw so many people do, and I transitioned from dancing into the fitness industry and from there into coaching, what I saw was that when I was training people, for example, they had that 1 hour with me. And oftentimes they were training because they hated their bodies, not training because they loved their bodies. And then after that hour of training, which is like investment in themselves, they would go back to a job they hated or have been in a relationship they weren't really meant to be in anymore. And there were things they were doing that was not out of fulfillment and from the depths of their heart. So what I came to is like, when we really love ourselves, when we really, really, really listen to what is inside and what our heart is telling us, we move our lives and navigate our lives in way more in alignment. And from there, we create more fulfillment and more joy and ease and grace. And from there, we show up we contribute to the world in the best possible way. And we also, because we're in alignment with what is meant for us as a unique being in this whole organism called the world and life, when we do that, we start preventing more illnesses, and we start just functioning in the system like we were placed there by divine source, God, whatever you want to call it. And when things like that happen, it's like, it's just like, it's magic. And just learning to trust what's on your heart and to listen and to tap into that, that's really what was my journey, and still is, will always be. And what I'm teaching others is to drop from our head into our heart, and then start navigating and moving from there. Because sometimes we have no idea, like our mind kind of oftentimes is a bit behind on our heart. Our heart is like, yeah, go there. And your mind is like, but why? And then you do it. And then afterwards you're like, oh, fuck, that makes sense.
Yep.
Well, I've really, really transitioned into like teaching people to move from their heart. Basically, it starts with dropping them in and connecting the mind, the body, like really learning to drop in, which is most of our society is taught from the neck, to live from the neck up and live in thoughts and our mind. So really like reinstalling that connection with our body. And then from there going like, okay, so what does it actually look like? What does your life look like when you would purely live it from you? Not from what anyone else tells you to do, because you know best. You are in your body 24/7. You've been there your whole life. You know what works for you. However, we've been taught that we need to rely on whatever society is telling us, whatever blogs and social media and everything is telling us that is right for us, when really every single person is unique and brilliant in its own. So yeah, that transitioned me into coaching and training and bringing it all together. And then my dad passed away from cancer, and when we got that news, that really dropped me in way deeper. It's being like, oh wait, that is why I'm here. I get to do that for people that have gone through cancer and are now stepping into the next chapter of their life, and really like, okay, so I get a new I'm receiving like, okay, a next opportunity for another chapter in this life, in this body. But now what? Because cancer changes a person. Like it's like, yes, everyone has life and challenges, but cancer brings it like to 1,000-fold in every single possible way. And then helping them navigate that is one of the most beautiful things that I wish I was able to do for my father. And now I get to do it for people all around the world. And to me, and that's something that I really would like to also like give to your listeners, is that whatever we go through, it can be the most horrible thing that's ever happened to you. And it can also be the biggest gift at the same time. We very much live in a world of either or. And I do my best to live in a world of and.
So I want to hear, and I know our listener wants to know as well, what was the biggest challenge in having your father pass away? Like, what was the biggest challenge for you as his daughter? And then what was the biggest gift that you felt like you gained from it?
The biggest challenge, what comes up for me right now is our parents are our foundation, because they literally brought us into this world. It depends, of course, on how your relationship is with your parents. I've been very, very lucky that my father was my rock. And then when that pillar in your life gets taken away, everything kind of in the whole system where you're navigating in, it gets to reorganize itself. And for me, that was a whole lesson of oh wait, I get to learn how to really stand on my own. And it dropped me so much deeper into my spirituality, in my whole beingness, my experience in life, and like really learning how to navigate and dive into the depths of my soul and not be afraid of any pain that is there, because the only way out is through. And for me, freedom and an expansive experience in life with ease and grace and with lightness is so important. And I knew I had to face a lot of things that were very deep down inside, because my whole life I was like, yeah, let's just suppress that. Let's just work very hard and not deal with everything that's been going on. So I think the biggest challenge, however, like, it doesn't feel like a challenge. It feels like it's just what I'm meant to do. Is really, really cleaning up everything that has been locked in my body, because I didn't fully process a lot of things out of my whole life. And it's like you open up Pandora's, I never know how to say it, Pandora's?
Yeah, Pandora, yeah, you got it. Yeah.
It's like you open, it's like, oh wait, there's more and more and more.
Yeah. The layers of the onion, there's always more layers to peel. That's incredible. And I think that the awareness of the process, right? Like, oh man, there's a process to this. Like there's layers, there's levels, there's, different things and aspects of me that will continue to come up like forever. That's what it means to be a human being. Like there's always going to be, deeper and deeper levels of stuff to clear and to process, and to fall in love with that process, or as I like to say, rise in love, right? To rise in love with that process, and, just like be inspired by that process, be moved by that process, that we get to experience that. And how can we embrace that? How can we allow that? How can we accept that without resistance? And like you said, not try to get out of it by going around it, but just go through that and experience those emotions and those feelings, process it, share it, whatever we got to do to really embody the people who we know we're capable of being, remembering the powerful souls that are within us that are driving this, body and this life.
Definitely. And I love that you said, because one of the biggest lessons that I've been able to understand and keep understanding is that we are not our experiences, we are not our thoughts, we are not our emotions, we are not anything that really occurs, because if we are able to observe it, that means that we're not it. So we're going through all of it,
right.
And to me, and it's really a powerful come from, like everything is neutral. So my dad passing away, it's something that happened. And I'm giving that meaning.
Yeah.
Everything that happens in our lives, it's occurring. Life is always lifing. It keeps on occurring. It keeps on happening. And then what meaning do I choose to assign to that? So there's a very empowered way of being.
Yeah.
Of like, okay, so what do I choose to do with this? And yes, the most horrible things happen. And once it's happened, you have a choice of how you respond to it and how you move then through life after that. Either using that, you can either use the experience to propel you forward, or you can be allowing it to overpower you and get victimized by it.
Yeah. And
really, like, to me, like when I just see everything as neutral, it just takes so much of the pressure away and so much of the drama. It just allows me to move through and be like, okay, let's just like ride the waves. Let's flow with it. Let's see where this takes us.
So I'm curious, in your coaching with people, to be the observer, to be neutral, that takes a real level of consciousness and awareness and presence and willingness to be open, willingness to try on new perspectives, willingness to like detach from the ego, from the story, from the things that people hold on so desperately to, the identity, right? Like people are so attached to their identity. I think even for me, even after I've discovered this concept, there's still aspects of my life that are unconscious that are being ran by my identity, and I'm still constantly always discovering those, right? So I'm curious, like, how do you find it is when people are going through so much pain and trauma or difficult times, how do you lead them to that perspective so that they're able to choose it powerfully and move through it?
most important thing is the space that I hold as a coach on the other side of the table.
Yeah.
And really being this space with, and no judgment, no assessment, no, just like being like neutral, but not neutral as in cold and detached.
Right.
Very loving, very like experiencing and allowing. That's one of my gifts, is really to be with people in their darkest. And then just being like, it is okay here. And I love you so much and I care for you so much and I'm so committed to you becoming your highest self that I'm not allowing you to stay in that place. So yes, we need to go through those darkest, because literally we need to complete emotions and complete experiences. And like you say, we can get so wrapped up in our own stories and our identity and what we like believe about ourselves and the world and about everything that's happened. So my job as a coach is to ask the questions and being like, oh, have you looked at it this way? Oh, is this possible? Like, and is that really true? Is it like capital T true, like gravity, like undeniable truth? Oh, what did you make that mean? Like, powerful questions is everything. Together with me being grounded and me being present and me really dropping into, and that's such a magical thing, but it's being present to presence. So just like we're being here right now, you can feel it, we're dropping in. Everything else, it's just like, it's just beingness and isness right here in this moment, and not allowing past or future or any other thoughts and judgments and assessments to come in. And we're human beings. We're going to be assessing and making meaning and putting perspective of everything that we experience. Like, that's not going to go away. However, what we can do is train how we observe, and that's like through just meditation, mindfulness, just practice noticing, practice listening. One of my biggest things right now is literally like, what do we listen for? And like in general, not just as coaches, but in general in our life, in our relationships, are you listening to prove yourself right? Are you listening for like a hook to jump in and sell something to someone? Are you listening to prove the story or the meaning that you hold about that person? It's like, yes, she's always doing that. He always does this thing and he always says this. Are you actually listening to what is being said? Are you actually listening to understand the person? I think we can solve so much by just becoming better listeners. Because we're so trained into listening to react and listening to kind of like prove our own, or stand for our own, like, this is me and this is who I am. Right.
Validate like that our perspective is right, that I'm worthy, that, you know, I have meaning here.
Right. Or listening for, like, I'm safe here. I'm like, you know, the person who's doing it. How about you just listen to the being that is in front of you? And like, what does that person need right now? What are they asking for? Maybe they're not saying it, but you can ask it. Ask questions. Or you can just tap into like what is happening in this now moment. Because then we can, like, when we start communicating more and really dropping in with each other, that's just so much richness in that.
Yeah, and it's funny, as you were talking about the questions a little bit earlier, when you said, like, I asked these questions and, you know, what did that mean? Is that really true with a capital T? Like, I just imagine someone, like, down in a really dark hole, like, and there's, like, they can't even see the top, right? But as you ask these questions, it's almost like they start, like, rising and being able to look around and see more light peering through and more, like, perspectives and, oh my gosh, like, did you see it like this? And they're just, like, rising in awareness and consciousness and awakening and coming to the light, like the love, what they can choose, what they can feel, rather than being so deep, dark down into the hole. They're able to, like, come up and rise above whatever it is that they're going through and be that observer, be at the powerful place of choice. And, like, yeah, you can go back down into that those feelings and feel them if you still need to process, if like you still feel like there's something down there that you didn't access and you're like denying it or if you're trying to push the darkness away, then it's going to probably like come back up and try to suck you back in or something. But I really just like got this vivid picture when you were talking about that, and then listening is, oh my gosh, it's so powerful. Especially people who are going through stuff, like just to listen to them and allow them to be expressed. And it's so challenging. It can be challenging when there's people who we've heard for years, we've known for years or even decades, like, oh, I know exactly what they're going to say. I know exactly what they're going to do. Like, for example, my dad, like, he asked me a question the other week saying, like, Chris, if you could change anything between high school and now, what would you change? I was like, what? Like, who are you? Are you my dad? Are you a coach? Like, who have you become? And it's just like, I never saw him that way. I never thought he was curiously engaged in my life. And now I recognize that, oh my gosh, I've been rubbing off on him, and my energy of being curious about him and his life and asking has allowed him to step into that energy. So, I think what I'm hearing in your energy and space that you provide is you provide this love so that people can know, hey, so that's what it feels like to be loved, and for someone to stand for me and for someone to hold space for me. So maybe I can do that for myself and for others too.
Yeah, and it's really teaching people that, because I, for so long, was afraid to go into the depths of the darkness of myself. And that's why I hired a coach to begin with.
Yeah.
Because I felt I had to face off with some things that I was just like, yeah, I'm too scared. I'm never going to go there by myself. I need someone by my side that is going to call me forward, call me on my bullshit, and love me enough to be like, no, we're going to take one more step. We're going to go a little bit deeper. Like, I know you want to quit now. I know you want to get out. I know it's very painful and you think you're going to die. And we can be powerful and a mess at the same time. We can be in this together. And I will be there with you. You're not going to die. It's okay. And that's really, really what I now help other people to do. And I will always continue to have a coach because, like we said, there's always deeper layers for us to discover. Yeah. Because it has transformed my life so much.
Yeah. Well, also, it's like to have the mindset that, oh, yeah, one day I'll be at the top of the mountain. I'll be the master, and I don't need anyone. I'll be, like, good. I'll be cooked. I'll be baked. We're done. It's like, no, life keeps happening.
Yeah, exactly. Definitely. And that's of it.
Yeah.
And that's also what we learn when we go into downhill and then going up to the top again, and it's just like, oh wait, this keeps on happening. Maybe I need to not attach so much meaning to the highs or the lows, because I know they will move by and another one will come and another one will come, and it's all okay. It's just like, let's just be in it. Let's just play. I just love bringing also a bit of the lightness into whatever people are going through, whether it's a high or a low. It's like, we're going to go through this anyway. We might as well have a little bit of fun and bring some lightness into it.
Yes, 100%. So how does alignment play into your philosophy? What does alignment mean to you?
I've been sitting in this because alignment is being thrown around a lot. And do we actually really know what it means? Like, I think for some people, it might mean different things. And it is a buzzword right now, like authenticity, and like there's all these like consciousness, and like, okay, but what does it really mean, guys? Right. I'm a big fan of language anyway. But alignment to me is when I am acting and living in line with my soul's purpose. And that is up to the smallest little details. And it's also when my word is meeting my actions. So when those two align, and where I feel like I'm on track with my soul's purpose, that's a kind of like the magic sauce. It's like what I'm saying I'm up to in this world, what I claim I want to live and become and embody, is that meeting my actions and what I'm actually practicing up until the smallest details in my life, the ones that no one ever sees, because that's really what it's all about, what happens behind closed doors, off social media and when you're alone. And is that aligning, those two, my words and my actions, are those aligning with what my higher self, my soul, my heart is here to do in this lifetime on this planet.
Wow. Wow. So what are some clear distinctions of if someone knows if they're acting in that alignment, that soul and heart alignment? How does someone know if, yeah, this is totally my soul, I'm totally in alignment, yeah, we're good, versus like maybe someone's deceiving themselves or misleading themselves, or they don't know like what is that true soul alignment, and so they're trying to get by saying that, sure, I'm supposed to be doing this, I'm right. How do they know the difference between that, like ego justification versus soul alignment?
I mean, ego is a sneaky bitch, for sure. Definitely tries to sneak in, because and that's the thing as well. We can become complacent. Like, yeah, everything is like it's meant to be, and everything is perfect, and I'm perfect, whole, and complete. Yes. And then there is the law of action, and that everything always grows towards the sun. If grass or flowers are not growing and they're not evolving and changing, they're dying.
Yeah.
So for us to be just in this whole place of like everything is perfect all the time, and that is a little ego trick that definitely they don't need a few times. But in terms of what you're saying, I always go like, does it feel, and it's a very quick little check-in, does it feel light and expansive and easy? Or does it feel constrictive and forced and like I'm pushing against something? Is it very quick? Does it feel like light or dark? Does it feel expansive or constricted and forced? And everything that is in alignment, it's just easy. It just happens. And most of the time, it's not what we think it is. So yeah, I don't know if that's a...
That's great. That's great. I think it also takes a level of trusting yourself and the knowingness of what is which and the experience of it. It'll take some wisdom. Intuition is, I would say, wisdom of learning to listen to yourself and hear yourself and what's coming from your soul, so that like light and expansive and easy, people who are not very in touch or in tune with themselves will be like, what the hell does that mean? Like what does being light, feeling light feel like? What does it feel like to feel dark? What does it feel like to feel, constricted, or, like whatever it might be? And I think that that's a feeling that we get in our stomach, in our gut, in our heart, in our head, like when we're not aligned, we feel it in different places in our body. And like, we just start to learn to listen to that. So, I think a big thing is in reality from now on, here's the invitation for people, is like, listen, when you're in your everyday life and you're about to make a choice, like pay attention when you make the choice to how it feels when you make it. Like, there's like a split second decision. You make one choice versus another, and it's like maybe it's a constant thing that you do. Maybe it's like a habit, a certain habit that you have, and every time you do this specific habit, like maybe cut someone off on the freeway, or take extra food at like some place at dinner when you're not supposed to, or whenever something like that is happening, like how do you feel about it when no one's looking, or even when people do know? Like, how do you feel when you do those things? Or when you hold the door open, and someone walks in the door and you hold it open for them, or you pick up something after someone drops it and you run after them to catch it and catch them and give it back to them. How do you feel about that? So I think those are some examples that come up for me.
Well, what makes it more tangible is everyone knows joy, everyone knows excitement, everyone knows curiosity. When you follow those three, you're probably going into the right direction. Another one is really like, does it energize you or does it drain you? When I was at a really, really stuck point in my life, literally what I did, I opened my diary and I was like, okay, so what in my week gives me energy and what is draining? Wow. And literally that simple act is what changed my life. That was the one thing that propelled me into my purpose and in just like living my dream life right now. Wow. That simple thing, just opening up my diary and looking at my life, literally looking at what do I do on a day-to-day and a week-to-week basis, and up into the thoughts, the relationships, the what time do I go to bed, what do I eat, what is my work like what city am I living in, everything. What energizes me and what drains me. If you feel tired after meeting with a friend, there's something off there. I'm not saying dump the friendship. However, look into it. Yeah. Get a scientist about your life. Yeah. And really be like, okay, so what is actually moving me towards how I dream and would wish to live? And then start taking small actions. And it's a practice. For sure. When I started, I was just like, what is my heart saying? What is my intuition saying? I don't know. Like, I know what my body is right now. Even though I was trained as a dancer, my body has been my work my whole life. Yeah. Because I was so attached. And that's what I'm just dropping into now. It's like we as a society are so attached to how our bodies look and we're detached from how it feels. So for most of my life, I've been detached from how it really feels, how my body really feels on a cellular level. And I've been so attached to how it looks, how it's functioning. And shifting into like, okay, so how do I actually feel? Do I feel energized? Do I feel drained? Do I feel nourished? Do I feel depleted? And those kind of things. And it's like training a muscle. If you first day you go to the gym, you're not going to lift 100 kilos or 200 pounds or whatever. Like, you get to work up towards it. You get to practice.
Yes. I love it. I love the example. Like, it's so clear. You know, I was thinking about doing that. So for everyone who's listening right now, if you're committed to finding out what is inspiring you and what moves you forward, what energizes you, and also being able to start reducing or letting go of the things that take your energy, that steal your energy, that feel like they're draining you, you know, start doing that. Make that commitment to do that yourself. And then when you're done, I'm sure Lisanne's going to share how you can stay connected with her at MyHeartMoves on Instagram. You can just send her the message. Send her a picture of what you journal about, and send us a picture. You can include me too, at BeYourGPS. And we want to see what's giving you energy and what's draining you. I love that.
Definitely. And one of the things, like, I love that you say start replacing or like removing some of the drainers out of your life. What I really, really love is because for some people it's like their morning coffee, for example. They know that the coffee is not good for them, or it's not like benefiting their highest self. However, they do love the morning ritual. So how can you then maybe replace a coffee with a tea, or a cup of cacao, or a cup of matcha, or like whatever. But so it's in the little details. If the ritual is serving you, but maybe the actual drink, for example, in this example, isn't, then switch that up.
So what I hear is the ritual serving you. The ritual is serving you, but the content of the ritual may not be serving you.
And the same within relationships. You might want to stay in that relationship with a friend. However, maybe you need to clear some air because of things that you're still dragging in of something that happened 5 years ago. So it's not always a very black and white situation. And it, like, that's why I love saying I become the scientist and the observer of your life. It's really like, what is it actually underneath? Because it usually isn't the thing that we come up with first.
Wow. I love it. Tell us more about that. Like, it usually isn't the thing that we come up with first. Why do you say that, and where does that come from?
Because at first we're still in our stories oftentimes. We're still in that little mind and brain chatter, where really what happens is more down. It's in our heart and our gut, and in our body. And so, it's a simple example, but something that is very tangible is like when people want to lose weight. They're like, oh yeah, I just want to drop 10 pounds. Like, okay, but why do you want to do that? What's underneath that? And I really, really invite always people to go deeper, because that's when you come to your true why. And that's that heart, that soul calling, that deeper and higher self that's like, no, but this is why. Like, it's never the service thing. Like, just by watching the trailer of the movie, you don't really know what the movie is about.
Right. Wow. So
On a first date, you're not going to know the whole person. The first thing is hardly ever the thing.
So, that brings up a great question. Like, how does someone know if they've gotten to the deepest level? And especially for people who have been doing the work for a while. Like for me, I have these insights and these thoughts, and then it's like, oh, epiphany, and then I'm like, wait a second, it still feels like it's there. It still feels like there's something deeper. Damn it.
Well, and also being okay with that might be all that is meant to come up right now. We get so attached. So that's a little ego thing again. It's like, I want to have the victory of finding the thing. Right. How about whatever is meant to come up and whatever you're meant to do, because whatever you're ready to process right now will come up. And you will feel of like, okay, there's deeper we can go today. There's more. And also you will feel where it's like, I know there's more, but this is all for today. And then allowing that to marinate, and it will come up. Because there's things for me coming up right now that I knew they were there for a very long time, but it's just dropping now into a whole deeper level because I'm now holding the body, and I'm holding the awareness and the consciousness, and I'm holding the tools that I can handle that. Because sometimes, and that's a tricky thing, with diving into certain experiences or coaching or therapy or workshops or personal development or like plant medicine, for example, that's doing that carefully and really feeling into, is that right for me and is it meant for me right now? So that we don't rip up open a wound that is not ready to be healed yet, because you're not ready for that yet. Because it can backfire on us if we go somewhere that we're not in the environment or being helped by the certain coaches or facilitators that are not capable of holding whatever is coming up. So it's a little bit of again, investigation.
I love curiosity. It keeps coming up throughout this. What role has curiosity played for you, and why do you think it's essential for your growth?
It's just a game changer. Because curiosity has a playfulness and a lightness. One of my favorite analogies, metaphors is like, let's be Dora the Explorer. Like the kids move, like the little the
cartoon. The cartoon.
Yeah. Like, why am I worse? Be Dora the Explorer. Like in your own life. Like and how much more easier does it then get to dive into the harder parts, the more challenging parts of our life. Because if I would have been like, oh my God, it's gonna be so hard and it's gonna be intense and oh my God, like, would I really want to go there then? But if I'm like, let's see who I can become. Let's see what more of me is there to discover. Let's see where I can grow into.
I love this because one of my big values in life is playing and joy and fun. And for a while, I thought personal growth and development meant really suffering. I had to suffer through the growth, right? like that was such a belief of mine that it had to be painful and excruciating, and all right, give me the torture so I can become aware. Right? No, it doesn't.
Sometimes, of course, I'm not gonna lie, there's really moments where I'm like, oh, really?
Yep.
Really signed up for this, oh, I know, and that is what it means to hold a big space, to be able to create a big impact, to really rise to the top of your potential. Of course, there's going to be challenges, and it's like warriors, you're not going to be able to go into war without some decent training. So, and I don't really like mentioning war as a metaphor, but very big on language and energetics around that. But hey,
totally.
Let's go with it. But it's like, again, it's an and. It's yes, sometimes it's like horrible. I'm not gonna lie that and say like, yeah, everything is fairies and roses. No. Just yesterday I had such like a morning of like literally crying for hours because there was so much coming up that had been locked into myself for so many years.
Wow.
And I was just allowing it all through and not being attached to any of it and just being like, I'm cleansing, I'm releasing. And I was just kept on being like, oh, so what is this? Is this actually from me? Or is it something that's on generations and in lineage has been passed down? Because it didn't feel like it was me. It felt like it was something that has just been locked in my body for years, but it didn't feel like it was mine. So that's, again, that whole wholeness and that oneness that we're talking about. It's so much bigger than we realize. And it might come across Google to some like people that are just like, what the heck is she talking about? I'm happy to dive more, like, you know, send me a message and we can dive in. I
love it, yeah.
But that is the magic of this work, of like really getting to understand a little bit more about really what life is. And that's why I also love my work within the cancer community, because there is such a fear around life and death. And there's so much going on in that space that I am able to just elevate and bring some more breath in, just by my beingness, by my knowledge, by my expertise, by just holding space and talking to people, like we were saying before, like sitting with them in their darkness and then being like, or what else could be possible? So yeah.
Once you get into someone's world and they're aware that you understand them or you get them, then and they're like, yeah, you get me. Like you can feel that in the conversation where there's like this connection and there's this like kind of trusting and willingness to be open. Then it's like, okay, so now that we're here, what do we want to choose instead? Like, what else is possible? You know? And it's such a magical moment when you get to that point.
Yeah, and it's really what I love. Like, I had a conversation this morning, and really what we came down to, and this is why coaching is such a big thing right now, is that we as humans are looking for meaning and for connection. That's two of the major things that we are looking for, meaning and connection. And within coaching, what we do is we are saying, like, who do you want to be? What kind of partner? What kind of father? What kind of employer or entrepreneur? What kind of person do you want to be? And how can we start creating that for you? What meaning would you like to give to your life, to your relationships, to your work, to whatever you're like looking into? What kind of meaning do you want? And how can we connect? Because our life is so fast paced. Like, what I'm learning now is like slowing down to speed up. And the more what I am learning and what I'm starting to work with on other people as well is like, the more we are being instead of doing, the more we are actually able to create. And everyone lives so in this world of like hustling, grind, that you need to get shit done and all of that. And yes, my to-do list, and I've got the plan and organized. And it's like, really, does life and nature really give an F about your schedule and your to-do lists? In the grand scheme of things now.
Nope. So
how can we, talking about that oneness and that energetic, like magic, like, I don't know, pods that we're all like dwindling in together.
Yeah.
How can we be more so that we can create more instead of just do and force things to happen? And that comes back to that alignment. So it's just, in the end, it's all connected.
Yeah, and one of the things that you brought to my mind is like, okay, how do I be something, that I want to create? So if I want to create abundance, something that might come to mind for people is to go out and make sales calls. And it's like, okay, yeah, that's a way to maybe create abundance. And maybe there's also, like what you said, slow down to speed up kind of thing. It's to go to nature and look at the abundance and recognize and acknowledge and feel and allow in the abundance of, the abundance of leaves, the abundance of oxygens, the abundance of, space, the abundance of molecules, the abundance of all the different things that you can see around, and just like recognizing it, and that getting tapped into that nature energy of abundance is one of the most rooted, grounded places of abundance that we can stand in that will resonate and radiate to other areas of our life, like getting more sales and increasing your money.
Definitely. And one of my favorite things in that is looking at your breath. Every single inhale, you are receiving.
Wow.
You're receiving life.
Yeah. Just
inhaling is abundance. Like, I can literally get straight away emotional, because how many people did not wake up today? How many people wanted to live another day? How many people wanted to do what you're doing? Like, literally just listening or watching this podcast, how many people in the world are not able to do that? We get to really just get a little reality smack and being like, how abundant are we freaking already?
Yeah.
And if you're not feeling abundant now, when you're not having all the money or the clients or the business or whatever you want, how do you think you're going to feel when you do have it? Still not abundant. The real challenge, and that's like a whole next level, is how can you abundant when you have quote unquote nothing? Can you experience and be in abundance when you're seeing zero in your bank account? That, to me, that becomes greatness. That becomes mastery. Yeah. That's what I give a damn about. I don't, like, literally, because if you have 500 in the bank or 5 million in the bank, it's whatever you give it meaning. You don't know how to be abundant when there's nothing there. You will always be a slave to whatever you own. And that is just, that's not what life is about.
So, final question. What is life about?
Oh. I mean, you have like an hour? What is life about? Moving forward in whatever, just, I don't even think that we can captivate it in words. Like, as much as I love language and words and all of that, really what life is about, it's the experience. Yeah. It's the expansion, it's the becoming of something that we have no idea about yet. And it's about experiencing, really. That love, that connection, that just being. And I think we kind of got lost in the whole let's chase everything, when really all that we need is already here. Like, one of the things I love saying is I have everything I need exactly when I need it. And that's just like brings like then let's play, let's live life. Yeah. Let's experience.
So you know what I would respond to what life is like, or what life is about?
Please.
I'd say, Lisanne, and everyone who's listening or watching, take a deep breath in. And exhale. And then look around you and just like be witness, and be a part of this.
Be one with everything.
Yeah.
And that is like, just notice, everyone, how that inhale felt.
Yeah.
We don't breathe enough.
No, we don't.
And it's life. Without breath, there is no life. Awesome. So, Lisanne, people are loving you. They want to know how to stay connected and what they can do next to continue with you on your journey. Definitely. Everything is My Heart Moves. My Heart Moves. Instagram at myheartmoves, website myheartmoves.com. My name is Dutch and very complicated, but you can still find me on Facebook. I'm sure it will be in the show notes. But My Heart Moves, Instagram is my favorite jam to hang out nowadays. And what I really love is connecting with people. Because really, I'm not all about this like, yeah, let's like following. No, let's interact.
Yeah.
Let's be in life together.
What's one of your favorite types of connection, so people know?
Oh, face to face, just human, actual touch. Like I have people like that because I'm always traveling and all around the world. Like people that I just keep connecting with like online, and when it's actually we see each other face to face, like, oh my god, you're 3D, like I can actually touch you. But in any way, shape, or form that we are able to connect, let's connect. Like drop a little message. If you have anyone that is going through cancer, has gone through cancer, is supporting someone, is grieving, everything around cancer is my specialty. And there is so many people that every single person I talk to is like, oh my God, that's what's needed. I literally have lost count about the people that broke down crying when I said what I am doing, because they're like, I wish I had that when I was going through it, or when my partner or loved one, or when I was going, like, they are just like, oh my God, I wish I had that. So what I ask from people is connect them with me or any other source that you feel like inclined to bring more of the human connection and really looking at the human that is going through that, so that we can start alleviating some of the trauma and the things that are created around the cancer experience and the cancer community. And I have connections all around the world that I always love referring people to. I know that I'm not everyone's cup of coffee, and that's fine. However, I really believe that we get to take a bigger stand in caring for the people that are experiencing the disease, so that we can not just help them heal, but also prevent any reoccurrence and really take a next step in life, because everyone deserves to enjoy those breaths that we were just talking about.
Amazing. 100%. And you heard it from her. I 100% agree. Definitely stay connected with her. My Heart Moves. And anyone who you know who is going through cancer or has a loved one or anything like that, definitely reach out to Lisanne and ask her, what do I do? I need help. I want support. I just want to share what this is like. Whatever that level of comfortability or interaction is for you, like do what works for you, and make sure that you just don't feel alone. And know that there is a support available for you. You simply just have to start the conversation. Start with an emoji. If that's what it takes, start with an emoji. Like raise your hands. Like,
hey, how are you? That's
right.
Enough of the conversation. We make it so complicated. It's like, really, let's just have a conversation.
Yeah.
Just connect.
Absolutely. Or you can use GPS. Type in GPS, and Lisanne will know that you came from here. If you are uncomfortable with sharing any more than that, just type in those 3 letters. You got that. I believe in you. And Lisanne, thank you so much for coming on. You are a superstar, and thank you for the work that you're doing in the world. I'm so excited to see your message evolve, your impact evolve, because you're so authentic and grounded and congruent and just totally leading with your heart. And I love it. And I appreciate it, and I know my audience loves it too. So thank you so much for being here and sharing with us.
Thank you for having me, and I definitely received that. You're amazing, and continue the incredible work that you do, because I know it's moving a lot of people.
Thank you.
Definitely.
Thank you, Lisanne. We'll see you soon, okay?
Yes. Bye.